Okay, so I am so sick of this thing, so I decided to make my own video on it, but like a really shit and really quick one. So basically, I am so tired of people on YouTube we watch supporting all kinds of stuff that we do not support, whether it's like ContraPoints or like BetterHelp or uh, I don't know who the fuck. YouTube is a mess. But anyway, the BetterHelp stuff is bullshit because of the fact that when you look at things like customer reviews, and when you also look at things like employee reviews, and then you also look at therapists' analyses of it, there's a whole lot of information that you don't get from videos like all the right wingers were doing in the past, like PewDiePie or whatever. So, like, you know, uh, uh, so there's stuff like the fact that people are paid for like word count in like texting versions of therapy, and the fact that it's advertised internationally, whereas it doesn't actually have the client base. No, not client base, sorry, but like the employees required to actually do therapy in countries like, I don't know, Lebanon or something, is advertised to everyone internationally. But at the same time, when you look at reviews, you see that some of the clients, some of the customers have been, you know, choosing to go with it because their country does not have sufficient mental health care to be able to access it in any way other than this sort of an international company. And then essentially, no therapist is available within their time zone, so they can never have face-to-face contact. And even if they have talk, even if they talk via chat services and stuff, basically they won't get a reply on time. And this is supposed to be advertised for people who are actually struggling with mental illnesses. Honestly, I look at it and I see people who advertise it, and I just get the impression that like it's that it must just be like getting positive reviews from people who don't actually struggle with significant mental illnesses. I mean, there is a line, and there are all kinds of different privileges that affect people's access to therapy and stuff. But also, it's always messy when it comes to like disabled issues because disability is so diverse, right? But the thing is that when it comes to mental health, a huge number of people deal with things like acute cases of anxiety and depression and stuff, and that can be very bad as well. And then also a huge number, a smaller number of people will have it and also have all of the resources they need to deal with it. A much smaller number of people deal with uh, chronic mental illness and deal with not having access to the services they need. And these are the people who I just look at as being ultimate victims of this sort of a service. So I'm going to link all kinds of uh, documents that show you just how bad people's experiences can be, because what I think past videos talking about it as a scam or whatever missed is the fact that all of the bad reviews point to systemic issues. They don't point to one bad therapist. They don't point to this employee signed up and this like employee should not have been working for them because they were not well qualified. It's not to do with vetting qualifications. It's not to do with a few bad employees. It's to do with the fact that this is a tech company that is intruding on an area, mental health care, which it has no clue how to actually solve the issues for them, and which it also pretends to sort of lead an advent of like telehealth and stuff, when actually therapists privately and also in various countries in public healthcare have been providing telehealth when it comes to mental illnesses already. So what I suggest is people look into telehealth when it comes to individual therapists, and they vet for their own mental illnesses and the training they believe is required to help them. So, if you're going for DBT or something, look into what a therapist is trained for. Make sure they're not going to assume they can fit you into their approach when they can't. And in general, we just need to replace all of these ads with pointers to services that are actually accessible to poor people, that are actually accessible to people in countries outside the US or the UK or whatever, and that are actually going to be able to do something when you are suicidal, when you are dealing with psychosis, and when they need to be able to get in contact with your national services and your national healthcare. And, if not national healthcare, any kinds of community-based or like non-profits or charity or activist organizations that do things like provide a space for people when they are seriously suicidal and when they are seriously needing somewhere to be, watched when they are actually in danger of hurting themselves, like seriously. Because BetterHelp isn't interested in solving those problems. And by the way, neither are any of the other companies that are like digital techie therapy companies that basically underpay therapists and don't solve the issues with dealing with things like mental health crises and providing good quality care for like a lower amount of money. This is a ramble. I've lost a viewer because maybe the ContraPoints thing, just to be clear, she actually upset me, and she actually drove a friend of ours in the past to almost like closeting themselves. So like, don't think that I have no basis for being annoyed at people always praising her. But anyway, see ya.